Thank you for your interest in Cyber Church of Christ. We use the King James version of the Bible. You'll always see that is in our verses that we quote and print out. And there's a PDF that goes with any of these lessons that you see on YouTube, and we'll be happy to send those to you. You'll see the email address at the bottom. We always study topics, or mostly I should say, and today's topic is called spiritual foundation. So first question we're going to ask is, what good is a foundation? What's the purpose of a foundation if you're not going to build anything on it? So if I'm not going to build anything on it, why is it that it even exists? So why would you build a foundation to have it? Well, I'll see a foundation when they're building a house or a building and then it's concrete with the plumbing stuff sticking out. Well, it doesn't do any good until what? You have a building. Well, in the spiritual world, there's really three things going on. One is you have a foundation and you built on it and it's solid. Another is you built a foundation on what was not solid ground. And thirdly, no foundation at all. So in spiritual world, one would be those that love the truth, stay in the truth, and are in the kingdom, and that keep their spiritual foundations solid. The second would be that, well, it's kind of like once saved, always saved. I'm already saved, so why do you need to do any type of building on any type of foundation? So really, the foundation is the calling on the name of the Lord. It's getting into the kingdom, or what you hear a lot of preachers say, obeying the gospel. The hear, believe, repent, confess, be baptized. Okay, well, that sets the foundation. All right, now let's look at these next three verses. We're going to look at two and discuss, and then the third one. Jesus teaches about the spiritual foundation, about one being laid upon rock and the other one laid upon earth. So let's look at Luke 6:47. Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. Okay, first let me stop right there for a couple of things. One is there's two ands in there. So I'll hear that occasionally from these guys on TV, and they'll say all you got to do is come to Jesus. Well, it's not, there's a come to Jesus, yeah, which I'm saying is obeying the gospel. Well, then you got to hear the word. I want to hear the word. Then you got to actually do commandments. That's the issue. So no, he's now setting it up. Now this he, and I bring this up a lot. What gender is that? It's not a gender. That's the pronoun for the whoever the people or person that Bible's referring to. In this case, it's the whosoever. That would be male and female. So instead of saying whosoever is like, which is hard to even say, you would use the word he. So don't get caught up in this he and she in the Bible. The he usually goes with man, and man usually includes both genders. Okay, unless it says a man came up and did something that would be different. Most of the time it's like this. This is both genders. All right, and then there's a colon there at the end. It says what? Well, I want to look at the next verse. So he says, I'm going to show you to whom he is like. He, I just discussed that, is like, well, that's a simile. So there's similes in the Bible. Yeah, there's similes and there's metaphors. And then a lot of times there's an example like a root, a tree, fruit, these type of things that are all metaphors, has to do with the Bible. So here's what he's telling you. Hey, you see this? I set this guy up. This whosoever up here, he or she, if they come to me and hear the word and do the word, do the commandments, it's like what? It's like a man which built a house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And then there's a colon there. And when the flood, okay, so he's like a man which built a house and digged deep, laid the foundation on a rock. Yeah, okay. So like one day I was talking to, we have an engineer in our group. And I'm saying, hey, well, this bridge got to cover 18 wheelers and go over a high bridge. Well, what happens? We got to have a solid foundation to hold that bridge up. And sometimes if it's big, it's got to go all the way down to the bedrock of the Earth's crust. Oh, so even in the physical world, you got the same thing. Do you want to put a foundation on a rock, or you just want to put it on sand? And so that's how that goes. All right, so Luke 6:48, it's like a man that built a house, dig deep, laid the foundation on a rock, and when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it. Another colon. There's 3 colons in this here. For it was founded upon a rock. All right, well, let me back up a minute. What is this when the flood arose? Okay, I don't want the flood arose. How do you avoid that? Well, you don't. That's what it's saying. There's going to be a flood and there's going to be a stream, which what we would call what? Something that overflow its banks. And when it came, it did what? Destroyed the house? No, it could not destroy it. It could not shake the house because it was founded upon a rock. So let's look at see how I underline these, built a house, dig deep. Let's look and see what these mean for us spiritually. The house being built is the works of your soul. So I'm building a house on what? We'll have a spiritual foundation. And when I was teaching class in Galveston, I had this board and I had a foundation. I would put bricks on there, like you're laying bricks, and those bricks were truths. So you would stack truths up together until you built a solid building off the foundation. So the house is works. That's the thing that many avoid. So you have to do the works, and we're getting judged on our works. That's a whole different topic. But you'll notice if you study with us that all topics lead to all topics. That's how the Bible is. Okay, and dig deep. What does that mean? Let me get this highlighted. There we go. So the house was my soul being built. Dig deep is removal of all existing material that will not support a spiritual foundation. That material is not made of truth, so it's unfit for the foundation. Okay, what does that even mean? Well, what happens is, same as when I told you, I asked our engineer guy about digging and having a foundation, and goes, oh, well, if there's a bunch of junk there where it won't hold, we remove all that and put in stuff that'll stay solid. Okay, well, what about your spiritual life? Well, same here. Spiritual life, I have things, or I'll hear something, or it's a false doctrine. Well, that's not going on my house. I'm not putting that brick on my house. That's not true. So you know what? I'm going to dig deep. So what is actually this dig deep, if you just wanted to sum it up? That's studying the Bible. That's ready to give an answer to somebody that asks you. How come? Because I dig deep into the truth to find out, how do you know something's unfit for the foundation? Well, because I have a solid foundation and I'm building these works on my soul, and the thing that I just heard doesn't match. It's not going to fit on this foundation. Okay, what you dig deep to make a foundation? Yes. Now look at this next one. Truths are stacked on a faithfully laid rock foundation. So how did you lay your foundation? That makes a difference. Well, I laid it on rock. Okay, well, how are you going to do this works thing that you first mentioned up here on your building your house? This works deal? What happens is I'm going to stack my bricks and I'm faithfully laying. So now I got a solid foundation based on what? On faith. So I have faith that I'm going to be judged in the end, and I'm wanting these works to be evident at the judgment day. And I want them to all be on a solid foundation so that I can get saved in the end. So that's why I'm faithfully laying a rock. Let's look at this flood. Remember I told you when I didn't want this flood to hit my house. The flood is the evil in the world attempting to destroy the house, which tests the foundation the house was built upon. What? Yeah. Yeah, this is called Satan tempting you in all points. He's going to come at you with a flood. Well, how are you going to do that? With a device. He'll have a device. It's like a flood. He goes, oh, you're building a house on a solid foundation. Let me crash that. So that's the flood? Yes. And you know what it does? It arises and makes the stream. So let's look at that. The stream is the predetermined evil attempts of the world to diminish your spiritual standing. So that means what? It's going to keep coming at me. There's a stream down there. I already know the stream can flood. And what is the whole purpose of this flood? The whole purpose is to ruin my house, to make it destroyed. Okay, and this vehemently is the last one I've got here with an explanation is what? The strength of the flooded stream. Oh, okay, so Satan's not going to give up. Well, no, he's watching me build. Hopefully you're watching this. You're building your house, your spiritual house on a solid foundation. Satan sees that. He's on planet Earth. And he goes, oh, that house you got by the stream there, a flood's coming. And I said, all right, well, it won't be very long. Well, wrong. It's going to be vehemently. It's going to be a strong storm. We're trying to knock your house down. Okay. So let's look at the third verse of this Luke 6. Luke 6:49. But, and you'll notice if you study Bible, especially with us, a lot of verses start with A-N-D or B-U-T. So he set up, hey, here's the guy that built it on a solid foundation. But he, and we're back to that same he, which is what? Whosoever, that heareth the word and doeth it not, is like a man, see, there you go with the simile, like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth. You didn't even bother to build a foundation? Well, spiritually speaking means they never obeyed the truth. They never studied Bible. They never got into the kingdom. They actually are atheists. They don't even believe the Bible. Okay, so what, they didn't build a foundation? No. How are you going to build a foundation? Remember I said the foundation was you had to get in the kingdom first. Hear, believe, repent, confess, be baptized, call on the name of the Lord. Well, if you hadn't called on the name of the Lord, you don't have a foundation. So how is it built? Well, your spirit, it's on the earth, so it's built on earth. And then what happens? Well, the earth gets destroyed in the end. And the house I built, oh yeah, that's what happened. So against which the stream did beat vehemently. Well, it did on the strong guy's house also, yeah. And the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell. And the ruin of that house was great. So let's look at the explanation I got here. The spiritual house built on a foundation of earth will fall. So somewhere I don't need to believe in the Bible, don't need to get into the kingdom and all. And besides that, I'm sensual. I'm a spiritual person. Okay, so you don't have a foundation. So what you're building on things on planet Earth. Yeah, or they'll say the universe was good to me this day, something like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's going to fall according to the Bible. It says here the ruin of that house was great. And that means what? You didn't get saved in the end. And the earth is the cares of this world. That's how you built the house. No foundation. You just started building your spiritual house, and you built it on how? On the cares of this world. Actually, I'd like to get a Castle Rolls Royce type deal, and then people on earth will really be impressed with me. That's cares of the world. So you'd rather build your house on what you said? On the earth. Okay, well, it'll fall. Okay. Note, the foundation is not seen. Oh, the house is seen. I can see what you built. Well, that's how we live our Christian life. We have a foundation. They didn't see all the scriptures that I've studied and all the commandments that I'm doing and all that. No, they see the finished product. They see us walking around with this solid foundation. They can't see the foundation. No, but they can sure see what you built. Yeah. When you drive by a mansion today, can you see the foundation? No, I see a big mansion. Yeah. Well, spiritually, you don't see the foundation, you see the house. Now, let's see how we end today's lesson. We receive a reward if our works were built on a spiritual foundation of what? Of faith that I mentioned before. If any, let's look at 1 Corinthians 3:14. If any man's work abide, and we know that abide means it remains, that it stays, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. So the word foundation is not in there, but the word hath built. This hath built means that's what I'm building. I'm building my house, which is, if you want to call them spiritual bricks of faith, on a solid foundation. Go ahead, bring the storm. I know it's going to be a vehement. I know you're not going to quit, but I'm sticking with my house, and it's solid on a solid foundation. Anyway, I hope that got you to thinking today, and that you can have, if you don't have a spiritual foundation, contact us so we can study that. We can give you a foundation, then you can start building your house, your spiritual house. We're the Cyber Church of Christ. You can always get a hold of us here at this email, cybercochrist@gmail.com. Hope you have a great day. We'd love to have you join us, be with us live. We have our worship service every Sunday, and we have midweek service that we can adjust anytime you'd like. Hope you have a great day. We're the Cyber Church of Christ.